The unthinkable has happened. LaTisha and Marsau have been fired following a shocking arrest. Yes, you heard that right. Married to Medicine fans are in an uproar, and the details of this stunning turn of events will leave you speechless. What led to their sudden downfall? Was it just a matter of time, or is something more sinister happening behind the scenes? You won't believe the jaw-dropping facts that have just been exposed. Stick around as we break down the entire story from start to finish and reveal the real reason behind their firing. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. You've probably already heard the shocking news. LaTisha and Marsau have officially been fired after a stunning arrest. This has sent shockwaves through the reality TV community, and today we're diving deep into what led to this dramatic moment. We'll cover everything you need to know about their firing, the arrest, the controversy surrounding them, and trust me, there's more to this story than meets the eye. In the next few minutes, we'll break down the timeline of events that led to this shocking situation, the details of the arrest, the backlash from fans and fellow castmates, and, of course, what the future holds for both LaTisha and Marsau. If you thought their time on the show couldn't get any more dramatic, well, buckle up because it just did. Make sure you stick around until the end, because we've got some explosive new revelations that might just change everything you thought you knew about this entire situation. You won't want to miss it. Now, before we dive into the shocking details of the arrest, let's rewind for a moment and look at the events leading up to it. LaTisha and Marsau's journey on the show has been anything but smooth. Over the years, they've both found themselves at the center of countless controversies, but nothing like this. LaTisha Scott has always been portrayed as a powerful businesswoman and mother, balancing both family and career. Marsau Scott, on the other hand, has been seen as the laid-back, charming husband who, despite the drama, always manages to avoid direct confrontation. But if you've been paying close attention, things have begun to take a turn over the last few seasons. Throughout the show, there's been mounting tension between LaTisha and the other women, especially when it comes to her marriage to Marcelo. Despite their seemingly perfect relationship on the surface, rumors and whispers about Marsau's infidelity and questionable behavior off-camera have persisted. While some fans dismissed it as just drama for the show, others have started to suspect there's some truth to the allegations. These rumors swirled for years, and there was always an uncomfortable air whenever these topics came up. As we all know, when reality TV cameras are involved, what's meant to stay private rarely stays hidden for long. At the same time, growing concerns about LaTisha's approach to conflict resolution became evident. She has always been quick to step in and defend her husband, even when things seemed to spiral out of control. That's when things began to escalate. One of the most memorable moments on the show was when LaTisha went head-to-head with some of the other castmates, and it wasn't pretty. A particularly intense clash occurred when LaTisha and one of her longtime rivals argued during a group gathering. The tension in the room was palpable, and it was clear that emotions were running high. The argument grew heated, with LaTisha becoming more vocal and defensive, showing that she wasn't willing to back down. But that wasn't the only moment where things started to spiral. Over time, both Marcelo and LaTisha's reactions to external pressures became more intense. It seemed as though they were walking on a tightrope, trying to balance the weight of their private lives with the public eye. Their outbursts, both on and off camera, began to raise eyebrows, and it was clear something wasn't right. Then, the arrest happened. But why? Why did LaTisha and Marcelo suddenly become involved in such a serious situation? What could have led to this breaking point? The answers lie in the mounting pressure that had been building for months. They had been dealing with rumors, confrontations, and the weight of their public image. Somewhere along the way, they began to push back harder against the increasing scrutiny. So, what exactly happened during the arrest? Keep watching as we break down the full details of that shocking night in the next section. Trust me, this part will make you question everything you thought you knew about this entire situation. Now, let's dive into the heart of the controversy. The arrest itself, the moment that shook Married to Medicine fans to their core. This wasn't just another argument or rumor that could be swept under the rug. This was a situation with real legal consequences. So, what exactly happened that led to LaTisha and Marsau being arrested? From what we know, it all started with a late-night altercation. LaTisha and Marsau were reportedly involved in a heated dispute, one that escalated quickly and, by all accounts, became out of control. Sources close to the situation have mentioned that this wasn't just a personal argument. There were external factors at play. LaTisha was allegedly confronting Marsau over persistent rumors of infidelity, something that had been plaguing their marriage for months. The tension between them had been bubbling for a long time, and this confrontation was the straw that broke the camel's back. What many people don't know is that Marsau's behavior during the argument grew increasingly erratic. It became clear to onlookers that this wasn't just a typical marital dispute. There were claims of shouting, pushing, and even some physical altercations that took place. Witnesses at the scene later reported that Marsau had become aggressive, even threatening to escalate the situation further in a public setting. This was far beyond what anyone had expected from the usually composed couple, but what happened next made the situation even more shocking. At this point, someone in the vicinity called the police, reporting that the argument had turned violent. When law enforcement arrived at the scene, they were met with a chaotic and tense situation. Marsau was immediately taken into custody after authorities assessed the situation. LaTisha, however, wasn't completely in the clear. She was detained for questioning and later released, but reports say the situation left her visibly shaken. Here's where things get even more bizarre. Despite being arrested, Marsau's behavior showed no signs of remorse or regret. Reports indicate that he remained defiant throughout the process, even making comments to the police about how the whole situation was being blown out of proportion. Was he trying to downplay the severity of what had just happened, or was there something else at play? LaTisha, meanwhile, took to social media after the incident to share her version of events. In a now-deleted post, she claimed that the altercation had been misunderstood and that it was simply a miscommunication between partners. She made it clear that she was standing by Marsau, regardless of the situation. This sparked even more debate among fans and fellow cast members, many of whom began to wonder if LaTisha was enabling Marsau's questionable behavior. The arrest made headlines immediately, and fans were divided. Some supported LaTisha and Marsau, claiming that the couple had been unfairly targeted, while others saw it as a glaring example of the couple's volatile relationship finally reaching a breaking point. But what happened next was even more explosive. In the days following the arrest, Married to Medicine producers made an unexpected decision. They decided to suspend LaTisha and Marsau from the show. This wasn't just a minor consequence. They were effectively fired, ending their careers with the reality TV series. Now, here's the big question. Was their firing justified, or was this an overreaction to what had happened? Did the arrest truly signal the end of their time on Married to Medicine, or was there a deeper story brewing beneath the surface? Keep watching, because we're about to dive into the aftermath of their firing, the public backlash, and what this means for their future, both on TV and off. Alright, let's talk about the aftermath, because trust me, the arrest wasn't the end of this drama, far from it. What followed was a tidal wave of public backlash, and it's one that LaTisha and Marsau are still trying to weather today. After the news broke that the couple had been arrested and then fired from Married to Medicine, the social media world went absolutely wild. Fans, former colleagues, and even industry insiders all had something to say about it, and as expected, the reactions were as divided as they come. Let's start with the fans. Of course, there were diehard supporters of the couple, but there were also plenty of viewers who felt completely betrayed. LaTisha and Marsau had been staples on the show for so long, and they had cultivated a brand of being the power couple in the medical and business world. But this arrest, this public scandal, completely shattered that image. Many fans who had once idolized them as the picture of success were now questioning the authenticity of their relationship. Could everything we saw on screen have been a lie? Was it all just an act? One of the loudest voices in this discussion was the rest of the cast of Married to Medicine. Behind the scenes, things were reportedly tense. While many cast members had grown close to LaTisha and Marsau over the years, some couldn't hide their feelings about the couple's behavior. Dr. Heavenly Kimes, for example, made no secret of her disdain for LaTisha and Marsau's attitude towards the show and their co-stars. She even tweeted about the arrest, suggesting that it was long overdue for the couple to be held accountable for their actions. In fact, Dr. Heavenly's comments were so sharp that they sparked a mini feud between her and LaTisha on social media. While LaTisha attempted to defend her husband's honor, many felt that her denial of any wrongdoing was only making matters worse. This tension on social media quickly became a focal point, with fans eagerly watching to see if LaTisha would back down or double down on her defense of Marsau. As for the couple's future on television, it seems their time with Married to Medicine is officially over. The producer's decision to fire them has sent shockwaves through the reality TV community, and it's unclear what their next moves will be. Some have speculated that they might try to land a new reality show or perhaps pursue business ventures outside of the spotlight. Others believe that their public image may be too damaged for them to recover easily, at least in the reality TV world. But what does this mean for LaTisha and Marsau personally? While the arrest and subsequent firing have caused major turbulence in their professional lives, the emotional toll on their marriage is still up in the air. The pressure of public scrutiny, the constant rumors, and the dramatic fallout from the arrest could either bring them closer together or push them further apart. Only time will tell how this will affect their relationship. As we continue to follow this story, one thing is certain: LaTisha and Marsau's journey is far from over. Whether they can rebuild their lives, repair their image, and find new opportunities remains to be seen. For now, though, all eyes are on them as they navigate the aftermath of their stunning downfall. LaTisha's next move became a point of intense speculation. Would she publicly lash out at her co-stars, or would she continue to stand by Marsau at all costs? But it wasn't just the cast and fans who were weighing in. The media quickly picked up the story in full force. Entertainment outlets and gossip blogs jumped on the drama, highlighting the arrest, the fight, and the subsequent firing. They delved into the messy details of the couple's public fall from grace. LaTisha, a successful businesswoman in her own right, was now facing a public relations nightmare. She had worked tirelessly to establish herself as a serious figure in the business world, but now that credibility was being called into question. And let's not forget the impact on Marsau's business dealings. As a successful entrepreneur, his reputation was closely tied to his public image. With the arrest hanging over his head, he faced criticism from all sides. Fans who had once admired his success were now scrutinizing his every move, but the real hit came from his business partners. Some reportedly began distancing themselves from Marsau, fearing that his personal drama could negatively affect their brand and reputation. Could Marsau's career and business survive this? Was he going to lose everything he had worked for? What was even more shocking was that the fallout didn't end with their firing from the show. Rumors began circulating that LaTisha and Marsau were involved in more than just the altercation that led to the arrest. Whispers of infidelity, hidden financial problems, and even illegal activities started to surface. These rumors only fueled the fire, leading to more questions and deeper distrust from the public. In fact, a few anonymous sources claimed that the couple's arrest wasn't just a one-off incident. They suggested that LaTisha and Marsau had been involved in multiple heated arguments over the years, with some even claiming they had witnessed Marsau's temper escalating to dangerous levels in private. As more of these details emerged, the narrative of LaTisha and Marsau's perfect marriage began to crumble. But perhaps the most shocking part of the fallout was the potential for LaTisha and Marsau to return to the show. Would the producers ever consider bringing them back after the scandal? Some speculated that the drama surrounding their arrest could lead to a bigger storyline, one that could become even more intense. But others felt the couple had become too much of a liability. Could Married to Medicine truly recover from this scandal, or would it mark the end of their time on the show for good? It wasn't just fans and the media that had a lot to say. LaTisha and Marsau themselves seemed to be grappling with the fallout. They both stayed relatively quiet at first, but then Marsau gave an exclusive interview where he attempted to explain his side of the story. The interview was tense, and many felt that Marsau wasn't taking full responsibility for what had transpired. He seemed to downplay the severity of the altercation, which only angered people further. LaTisha, on the other hand, took a different approach. She started posting motivational messages on her social media, attempting to shift the focus away from the scandal and back onto her business endeavors. But despite her attempts to move on, the damage had already been done. So, where do they go from here? The public backlash isn't going to disappear overnight. LaTisha and Marsau's future, both professionally and personally, is uncertain. Will they be able to rebuild their careers? Or is this the beginning of the end for their time in the public eye? Let's be clear, this arrest wasn't just a momentary glitch. It has far-reaching consequences, not just for their marriage, but for their careers, reputations, and future in the public eye. As much as they might want to brush it off or pretend they can move forward quickly, that's simply not going to happen. This scandal is going to follow them for a long time, whether they like it or not. The hard truth is they're facing serious challenges ahead, challenges that will take time and effort to overcome. Whether they can rise from this is yet to be seen, but one thing is certain: their lives, both public and private, will never be the same. The consequences are far from trivial. This arrest comes with serious public backlash, and the damage to their public image is undeniable. The couple's professional futures are now in question. For LaTisha, who has worked so hard to build her personal brand and professional career, this scandal is a massive blow. She has been known as a successful businesswoman, but now people are questioning the foundation of her success. Was it truly earned? Or is there something darker lurking beneath the surface? Her personal integrity and judgment are now in doubt, and rebuilding that reputation will be an uphill battle. And let's not forget about Marsau's career. He has been highly respected in his field for years, with his reputation as a businessman, investor, and community leader playing a key role in his success. However, now that he's been arrested, he's facing a full-on professional crisis. In an industry where image is everything, his arrest doesn't just affect him personally, it also reflects on his business dealings, partnerships, and network. Investors, colleagues, and potential clients will find it difficult to trust him in the future. One of the biggest concerns moving forward is whether LaTisha and Marsau will be able to rehabilitate their image and rebuild their public personas. Will they recover and continue their careers in business, or is this the end of their professional reign? Looking at how other celebrities in similar situations have managed to bounce back, like Lori Loughlin or Felicity Huffman, who faced legal troubles but eventually made comebacks in Hollywood, albeit after a lot of work and time, there may be hope. However, LaTisha and Marsau's situation is different. Their careers are in fields that don't have the same kind of Hollywood comeback opportunities, and the damage done is much more personal and intimate. Can they really bounce back from this? Another important aspect to consider is their relationship. After an arrest like this, especially one involving public fighting and legal action, it's natural to wonder what will happen next for their marriage. We've seen many couples fall apart under the weight of public scandal. So, will this event strengthen LaTisha and Marsau's bond, or will it drive them apart? There's also the elephant in the room: their children. LaTisha and Marsau's kids are already growing up in the spotlight, and now they will have to deal with the consequences of their parents' actions for years to come. How will the kids handle this public shaming, and how will LaTisha and Marsau explain the incident to them? For now, the next steps are unclear. Will LaTisha and Marsau remain in the spotlight? Will they go on a public apology tour to try to salvage their reputations? Or will they step away from the public eye entirely, hoping that people will eventually forget the details of this arrest? What we know for sure is that this isn't just a temporary setback for them. Their careers, their lives, and their family dynamic have all been dramatically changed. They now face a long road ahead to rebuild from the ashes of this public scandal. Stick around, because in the next section, we'll discuss how the public and their peers are reacting to LaTisha and Marsau's situation, and whether there's any hope for redemption.